All right, cool. So this is just going to be kind of an overview. I'm Jara Miles, and I'm one of the teachers here at Inspire. I teach dance and theater. And yeah, so tonight we just decided that it would be good if we had a place where people could come and answer questions about how performing arts are working and have it in one place. And then we are recording it, so if people are missing the meeting, they can go back and take a look at it, since we have course selection coming up in the next couple weeks. So why don't the rest of you introduce yourselves? Go ahead and tell people what you teach.
Hi, I'm Erin Horst, and I teach theater, and I'm excited to be here.
All right, my name is Jim White, and I teach instrumental music and recording arts.
Hi, I'm Olivia Cirillo, and I teach vocal music and musical theater, and this is my first year with Inspire. Happy to be here.
And Sarah Shoemaker, our other dance teacher, will be on shortly. She just finished rehearsal and is heading home, and will hop on as soon as she reaches home. So she'll be here momentarily. So I'm going to kind of talk us through this, but everyone else is going to jump in and talk at times. So we have course selection coming up, and I'm sure, or maybe, I don't know if people showed you this, but the students are handed a handout that looks something like this. If it'll load, come on, course selection, offerings. There we go. It looks a little overwhelming at first, but if you take a look, it has all the classes we offer at Inspire, and it tells students when and how they can take the class. So it shows what's offered each year and what may not be offered in this coming year. We alternate some classes in the performing and managerial arts. So sometimes it's not offered and they want to kind of plan out their schedule accordingly. So they'll be receiving this sheet where they can use out their classes. And yeah, I don't have to dwell on that. But what I do want to show you is, let me go back to our PowerPoint. What we normally do is kids don't know what class to take because sometimes we do what are called placement auditions for different areas. So the way we're handling that is different for each program this year. In the past, historically, in the first week of March for the dance program, we do a placement audition where everyone comes to school, all grade levels, and they do a dance class, and Ms. Shoemaker and myself place the dancers in the class that is most appropriate for their level. For this year, we are telling students to sign up for the class that seems to be the right level for them. And if they want to move up a level, they need to submit a video of themselves dancing. And they will email that to me, and we will consider making a change in their placement to move them up to a higher level. For students who took Dance 1 or Dance 2 this year, we're encouraging them to retake the class at that level. Unless they really want to push from Dance 1, they can go into Dance 2, and they would just reach out to Ms. Shoemaker or myself, and we would consider moving them up. And then for Dances 3, 4, and 5, that would be by audition. They will maintain in the level they're at, or they can audition to go up by submitting a video. So that's how dance is working. Jim, do you want to talk about instrumental music?
Yes, normally I will do something similar to what is being described here, is have students come in sometime in early March and just play for me, particularly if they're new. If they're not new, there's no reason for them to come in because there's only one orchestra, so we don't have various levels at this point. But new students, I invite them to come in, they play for me, something they've been learning in band or orchestra or something at another time. And if that doesn't work, then we usually catch them the week before school starts because there are a few students that just can't. So one of those two times is when we audition, or when I audition or assess for instrumental music.
Just real quick, I'll jump in for dance. We do make another assessment the first 2 weeks of classes. If we feel people are misplaced, we do have the opportunity to shift them and move them.
Can I jump in about theater really quick?
Yes, please do.
So I wonder if we have freshman parents or incoming freshmen, and if we do, maybe I'll just say it for the recording purpose, but If you're interested in theater and you're going to be new to Inspire, let's say you're going to be a freshman next year, we really want you to take Performing Arts Foundation. It's the starting class for all students who are interested in vocal music, musical theater, theater performance, technical theater. That's the place that we really want to see all of our freshmen get registered in. It's a fantastic course that gets you not only equipped to learn about all of the performing arts in Inspire, but to be ready to be involved in the department at Inspire and build community. We really want to have cohorts of students who work well together and feel like that tight-knit group of students that go through all 4 years together in the performing arts.
And Jara, can I speak to vocal music just for a moment?
Please. Yep.
Okay. So vocal music, again, like Ms. Horst or like Erin was saying, if you have students who are incoming freshmen or maybe they were a freshman this year, the first class that they will need to take as a vocal music major would be choir and vocal techniques, which can be taken at the same time in the same year. But those are kind of the prerequisites to go on into the major.
And then do you want, well, we'll get there. So that's kind of how we're doing placements for class. It's just kind of an individualized thing we're doing this year to get people where they need to be. So if your student knows they want to take a class at a higher level than the entrance level class that we would normally place them in, all the entrance classes don't need auditions. But anything above like a basic class level or an entrance class level will be marked on their sheet and it'll say by audition, and they just communicate with the teacher in the program. We have lots of clubs at Inspire, and some are happening and some are not. And I'm going to speak to that a little bit. Some classes have students who are interested in keeping them going, and some of them don't. One thing we've noticed is for our dance program, our tap ensemble has worked out really well. But we usually have a Polynesian team and a hip hop team, and they just haven't really had an interest to keep that going. However, we are going to create something for our spring showcase. So those are going to be having once a week meetings starting in about a week or two, where we're going to start preparing a piece for the spring showcase. So there'll be a little bit of opportunity there, but not what we normally do. But we are planning that next year we would offer those clubs again. Jim, do you want to speak to orchestra and instrumental music?
There we go. Most of the time we have a club that goes on during class. Orchestra club is part of the way that we support financially. We also make some decisions with money and things that we've had through other programs, through other events that will buy new music, buy new clothing, things like that. So that club normally meets during orchestra. So if you're a member of orchestra, you would be a member of that particular club. Not listed on here because we don't do as much with it as a recording arts club. Same thing, it happens during class. So it's not something that happens outside very often.
And Olivia, do you want to speak to the small vocal groups?
Sure. Yes, so we have 3 main small vocal groups this year. We are only doing 2. We have a men's quartet, so it's for gentlemen. It's called the Gents. We have a small group of 4 women called One Voice, and then a larger, but still small group, about 10 to 12 students called We Be Major, which is the one that's not happening this year. But those clubs are all audition based. So if you do want to be in one of those clubs, you will have to audition at the beginning of the year. But yeah, they're really fun.
And Erin, would you speak to theater club?
Yeah, theater club is still rocking and rolling this year. Normally we do it during class time, but because of the 1x8 schedule that we're doing this year, we've already had all the theater classes or the theater performance classes that I teach. They're done for the year, but so theater club is meeting on Tuesdays at 12:30. Hit or miss, you know, we mostly are every single week, but sometimes things come up for the group. But we usually do like student written works, monologue presentations. We sometimes do separate productions from our, school productions that run through production teams. So it just depends on the year and what the students are interested in doing.
And production team is active this year. It is both a class and a club, and they are a program that is created to produce all of the performing arts. So we support those so those individual programs can thrive. And then we primarily produce one play, one musical, and the gala each year. And we have already been active. We did the gala this year, and we're working on Phantom of the Opera and Alice and some other programs you're going to hear about in a minute. So that group is meeting Monday afternoons, and we will have applications for next year going out in the next week. So if students are interested in being on production team next year, there will be an application process, and we will still do interviews. They will just be via Zoom instead of in person. So those are our clubs. Whoa, did that just jump? I feel like that jumped. Nope, that's right. Okay, so this is just a quick things that you're going to hear about. This is not going to be a lot of detail. It's a quick calendar overview of some of the major highlights that are coming up in the performing arts. The first is what we're doing tonight, which is just an info night. And then we are going to talk a little bit at the end about the boosters for performing arts that we are starting. And we're probably going to be starting some fundraisers with that. So you'll see that coming out this month. In March, we are looking at doing Alice in Wonderland auditions. Erin, would you like to tell a little bit more about Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, sure. We started meeting at the beginning of the school year and invited any students who were interested in collaborating on an original adaptation of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. So we've had students on the technical side, on the writing side, on every aspect of what it takes to come up with an adaptation. So we've been meeting every week on Mondays, writing a script, coming up with design concepts, and we're at the point where we've got a completed script, which is amazing, and we've got a complete technical vision, and it's looking great. And so we're at the point where we're going to start auditions with the hope of bringing it to some kind of audience in some kind of format before the end of June. That's the plan. So, but we're very excited to see how that comes together.
We are already rehearsing for Phantom of the Opera. It has been an interesting process, but the thing I can tote for Phantom of the Opera is we have had almost 100% attendance at rehearsal, which has never happened in the history of Inspire. So it's pretty phenomenal. We have a very committed group to this production, and we are looking to either live stream or have a limited audience based on COVID restrictions. In late April, and we are utilizing the Paradise Performing Arts Center this year. They are collaborating with us to give us a really great venue to use for that event. There are some restrictions, of course, and we are in a holding pattern a little bit with exactly how that's going to look and be put out, but we are working with all groups to make that happen. We are doing some fundraising with the foundation. They are doing a giant auction coming up. You'll hear tons about that. And we are adding a bit of artwork into that, which is an any medium art auction, and those funds will go towards the performing arts. So those art pieces are based on or inspired by either Alice in Wonderland or Phantom of the Opera. So we have some kind of fun things that are going to be in that. For May, we are planning an outside event around May 14th, 15th, 16th, that weekend. Where different groups and different programs can showcase what they've been working on. I know Mr. White is interested in doing instrumental music night. I have dancers who want to do dance performances. I'm sure vocal groups will want to sing for you. Theater club's been working on some projects. So we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but we've already been plotting and planning of how we can turn our outdoor space into a performance area and do it right here at Inspire, but be outside. So we're hoping that comes to fruition and we're allowed to have small audiences. And maybe we would do a couple performances of each program so more people would be able to attend. So stay tuned for that. We're excited about it, and it will be a way for us to connect before the end of the year. Awards night is going to be May 18th. So if you have a senior awards nights coming up, and that's when we announce things like excellence in different programs and our outstanding student of the year in our programs. We do those recognitions. It's also scholarship night, so if students have applied for scholarships, those are handed out May 18th. We have a couple of other fundraisers. We have a Mad Hatter design contest coming out. We have a movie night that we're going to do at Merriam Park. We're most likely going to show Grease, and we're hoping it'll be a dress-up event. We're getting a portion of the sales that night, so it's just a fun event, fundraiser to go towards our productions and our programs, I should say. Our graduation date is probably June 1st. That is the tentative scheduling based on location and availability of the people we need to collaborate with to make graduation happen. That is also a performance opportunity for our programs. We had many performing arts students submit work for the graduation, and they're really a key element in that event. So our seniors will start preparing work for that. After spring break, they start preparing and can submit work. We are hoping to do Alice in Wonderland in mid to late June. These are kind of our tentative dates. We're working on a park-like location, which is kind of gonna be like a picnic where you come and we surround you with the show and you get to have an experience. It should be pretty amazing. We have never really done something like this before, and we're pretty excited about it. So by moving it to summertime, we don't have to compete with the school schedule, and it also allows for us to do things in the morning for young children and also the evening for adults. So we're hoping that will be a very fun opportunity to do that. And then lastly, we are looking at doing a summer camp through CARD that is going to be open from 6th grade through 12th grade. It'll be called Rock the Musical. We're going to look at all the different rock musicals and do different production numbers from them and look at dance, theater, acting, technical theater, all the areas of performing arts we can integrate into the camp, we will. It'll be much like an intensive Inspire experience. They will get to work with current students and alumni, and we're really excited to put that program together. We had camps planned for last year and they were canceled through CARD, so we're excited to bring it back this year and give people that experience. So you can look for that in the CARD catalog, and we will also be sending that out through our program. We are considering also doing a part that's for younger students, because I've had already 6 requests for above 6th grader or below 6th graders, so I'll keep you posted. That's not planned yet. And then in August, there is still a possibility that our students might be able to travel to the Fringe Festival in Scotland, and that's really pending COVID restrictions. But Ms. Horst is heading that up. Do you want to say anything to the Fringe Festival?
I mean, nothing other than we're just kind of waiting to see what happens. If things dramatically improve, you know, it'll be a really fun experience for the group of students that are signed up to go. If it's canceled, like if the Fringe gets canceled again, like it was last year, we'll plan on going in 2022. So either way, we'll go. It just might be this year, but it might also be next year.
Yeah. So if you didn't know, Inspire students went to the Fringe Festival 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and it was an amazing experience. We performed an original work. We took like 40 students. It was a crazy.
Yeah, we had 38 students. We traveled to London and Edinburgh. We saw a lot of professional theater. They performed at the festival. It's an amazing experience and one that we really, really hope to do again. So regardless, like I said, we'll go this year or next year.
So we'll be bringing that program back. It was pretty life-changing. And then school is scheduled to start August 10th next year. That is not set in stone, so don't write that down and print it in your brain, but I've been told that is the tentative date for start. The productions for next year have not been announced yet, but we are in the process of reviewing scripts. We do think a play is picked, but we are still working on a musical. We're not sure what we're doing, and our schedule may look a little different next year, depending on what the COVID numbers look like and what we're allowed to do. So we will be keeping that in mind as we pick our season for next year. Okay, we're all the way like halfway through. Erin, do you want to talk about career tech ed pathways?
Sure. I know this can be a little bit you know, muddy when you look at what's the difference between a major and a CTE pathway, and what even is CTE? It's actually pretty straightforward. So CTE is the Career and Technical Education Pathway Program, and it exists in the state of California and across the nation in different places. And what it is are a series of classes, typically between 3 to 4 classes that a student takes while they're in high school, that prepare them in a career and technical education area for careers in that area. So in other words, if a student completes a CTE pathway in arts, media, and entertainment, the idea or thinking is that they are then prepared when they graduate high school to pursue college and or career in that pathway area. Now, the difference between CTE pathways and majors is distinct in that CTE pathways are used at all high schools throughout the state of California. Well, not all, but those that have CTE programs. But majors is a unique program to Inspire. So a lot of times a student completes a CTE pathway and they never really knew that they were even in the pathway. But when a student completes a major, they're doing something called a capstone project at the end of their classes, their senior year. So it's a very specialized, unique experience that a student has in an Inspire major. I don't know, did that maybe?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is a CTE pathway is 2 to 3 classes linked together.
Right.
Majors are a lot deeper dive. They are usually 9 to 12 classes linked together. So they are a much more intensive deep dive, and we have a minimum GPA for majors. So it's a little bit of an honors program. They have to have above a 3.0. They can't get below a B in their majors classes. And they really become leaders in our programs. And they set the bar high, and it's an amazing program. It also does not say what they need to be when they get out of school. They can major in dance and then go on and study something completely different in college. But it does show a level of commitment and a deep dive into an area. Students by no means have to do a major or CTE pathway at Inspire. They can just choose to do so, and we offer those programs if you're interested.
The other thing that's neat about the CTE programs is that we get funding from the state of California to help build our industry connections for our CTE pathways. So that funding supports not only our pathways, but in essence our majors as well, because we're building those pathway classes, which are also a part of the Inspire major. So we have collaborations with industry advisory boards. We've got connections. I think on the next slide, we talk about the Butte College dual enrollment for music and recording. So those are just examples of the kinds of industry connections that, that our pathways make in the performing arts.
So that's a great segue. I'm going to hand it over to Jim White to talk about dual enrollment.
Mute. There we go. I always forget to unmute. Students tell me all the time, Mr. White, you're muted. So for this year was the first year that we actually did a dual enrollment program with Butte College. And that means that while students were taking a class at Inspire, music theory, it was also a Butte College class. So I went through even the application process. I'm a Butte College instructor, and as a result, I'm teaching a Butte College class on campus that gives Butte College and Inspire credit at the same time. So if they successfully passed music theory, which is called AP Music Theory because the AP test is connected to it, then they now have Butte College credit at the end of this semester. Normally it would be during the course of the year. Grades don't come out until May, so technically they're not completed with the class, even though in our 1x8, we're now done. So for this year, all the students who were in AP Music Theory, they registered, if they chose to, they registered for Butte College in the class. We had somebody come into a Zoom meeting, we set it all up, and we logged in and took care of dual enrollment. In the future, we just had a meeting with people at Butte College to set up a small CTE certificate system, which will be 3 classes put together. And these certificates, basically, it's like the beginning of an AA degree. If you went to Butte College and completed 2 years, you would end up with a full certificate. This is going to be a small certificate that is specifically in the area of recording. It's going to include some music theory and then electronic music and in recording arts, all of which programs are offered at Butte College as well. So there'll be dual enrollment in all. Technically, there's 4 classes involved because music theory has ear training class as well as the technical part of music theory. So there'll be 4 classes to create that CTE, college level CTE small credential or small certificate, excuse me, certificate. So that's basically it.
You're muted, Jara.
I got it. I was kicking my hand there fast enough. I just want to let you know, sorry, I clicked to the wrong slide. So there was a Butte College slide I added. The other thing that we have that you might hear about is something called the backstage exam for technical theater that we're doing this year. It's a USITT program, which is the United States Institute for Theater Technicians. And it was also created with the Educational Theater Association, and it is a CTE certification exam. So students will become certified in technical theater upon graduation if they pass this exam. So we're a test pilot program for this, and so we're doing the pre-exam and the post-exam. And I've basically rewritten our technical education curriculum to meet this. So it's pretty exciting. I've been teaching a whole new class now for technical theater, and it's been pretty fun. So you'll hear a little bit about that. So students go into technical theater, they will also get certified in technical theater at the end of the program, if they pass the exam, but we're hoping they will be prepared and ready for it. And there was a couple quick questions, so I'm going to answer those really fast. There was a question about, are there other majors? There are 5 additional majors to the ones we listed for performing arts. There are science, engineering, media arts, visual arts, and humanities. And we're also developing potentially a new major in video game design. So there are definitely more majors at Inspire. And then is there a calendar? There is a calendar on our website, and we will add additional information. We just solidified some of our calendar dates, and when they become confirmed with locations, they will go onto our calendar. So once we have those, you will be able to link to that and see what's going on. So I just wanted to address those quick questions. Lastly, we are doing something a little bit new at Inspire. We've wanted to create a performing arts boosters for years, and this is the perfect time. We have lost 27 productions and events since we closed. We are a prolific performing arts school. We do lots of things, and we have lost nearly all of our income for tickets, concessions, ad sales. We do this thing called encouragements, our donations. Pretty much all of our sources of income has ceased. We usually bring in around $70,000 a year, and since 2017, we have raised over $210,000 in our programs. So it's pretty catastrophic, the hit we've taken, but we are still doing all of our programs, and we are still preparing all of our shows, and we are still providing a very similar education minus the actual stage performance that we've been able to do. So, one of the things that's really kind of interesting to know is right when the pandemic came in, we were in the red after Oklahoma. Not a lot, but a little bit. And usually we make back that in the 9 productions during the showcase season in May. Since March 1, when we had our last production, we have raised over $8,000 in the performing arts, which is actually a pretty good chunk of money considering we're in a pandemic, but it's nowhere near our normal income source. So we've been working on some new fundraisers, and we would like to create an Inspire Boosters. We have 6 parents who have already volunteered to start heading this up. And we are not looking for some crazy fundraising. We just want some help spreading the word. And we have some very easy ways to contribute with that. Communicating that we have need, and we are building a donation website that shows what we need help towards. And what we're asking is, if you bought tickets to one of our shows, please donate that amount towards Inspire Productions. So if you think about, well, I would have, spent $120 on tickets if I went to your musical. We would love you to donate that amount. And the idea is, if you donate over $100, you would get permission to come to our first event when they start coming. And we are able to have things in person. And there's also perks to being a booster. We'll do fun things. Certain nights you could come and get a free cookie, or you might get a best seat in the house and move down to the front, or other things like that. So we're in the planning process of this. We haven't launched it completely yet, but we're looking for any parents who are interested to email me, and I will get you connected to our next meeting if you would like to help out. And there's lots of different ways to help out. It can be a donation of time. It can be running ideas by, what does something look like, and then also spreading the word. So that's our boosters. And then lastly, we want to take any questions you might have. And these are all of our contact information and our areas that we generally answer questions in, or our programs that we work in. So Sarah, did you make it on? Is she here? I can't see everyone.
Yes, I'm here.
Do you want to introduce yourself real quick, just so we have name and face?
Yes, my name is Sarah Shoemaker. I was late because I was getting home from rehearsal. So, but I am the other dance teacher at Inspire. I've been at Inspire for about 7 years now, and I co-teach Dance 1 with Jara, as well as teaching Dance 2 and Dance Styles, and co-teaching Dance 3 and Dance 4. And I advise the Tap Ensemble Club.
All right. Are there any questions you guys would like us to answer? Anything maybe we didn't touch upon? I'm checking questions in the chat. I don't see anything. Anything you want us to address? Well, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We know we kind of blew through the information quickly, but it's also late on a Thursday night. And so we just wanted to put it out there and have all the information in one place. And we will take this information and also post it so students can access it and parents can access it in the future. And just give it all, here's what we're planning and here's where we're headed. Please feel free to reach out to any of us as teachers. We're very approachable. Email is the best way to reach us. And usually we'll get back to you in about 24 hours. So if you come up with ideas or questions, or you just need help picking classes, we're available. So anything else you guys want to add?
Just a thank you for coming and listening to what we have to say. And like Jara said, please send us questions. We're happy to answer.
Sure.
And all of the staff information is on our website too, at inspirechico.org. So if you didn't catch those emails, you can always look on there too.
Right. All right. Well, I think that concludes this evening. We just wanted to say thank you for coming and have a great night. Looking forward to seeing you guys at shows.